It is a very easy thing to do, guys, and it is not complicated at all. And that is how you spool a bait casting reel. To set this up, to get it ready to spool up our spinning reel. Very simple. What is going on, everybody? My name is Clayton and I am one of the KastKing brand ambassadors. And in this video today, I'm gonna be talking to you about the all new V10 line spooling station rod rack that you see on the wall behind me. Let me tell you right now, this thing is super cool. I know that you're gonna love it, so stick around for this video. I'm gonna tell you everything that you need to know. Let's get into it now. Now, before I go any further, I do want to be sure to let you all know that you must install this on a wall. It is not like a traditional rod rack storage where it just kind of sits on the floor. You do have to put it on the wall, but what they did is they made this in such a way that it literally takes up only 18 inches of space on your wall. So a very small, minimal amount of space is going to be needed for you guys to install it, which, by the way, is very easy to do. KastKing did provide quite the illustration here in the box for all of those people that are going to need instructions, which obviously I would advise that you did follow the instructions when you want to install this. But if this is not enough for you guys in terms of being able to install it, KastKing does provide an actual video on their YouTube page that will walk you through the detailed process in terms of installing that. So fear not, guys, this thing really is not hard to install, but I did want to make sure that I did tell you that up front so that way you knew you are purchasing a wall mounted storage rack unit here. Okay guys, so real quick, I do want to show you how they designed this thing and the reason why it does take up minimal amount of wall space. As you can see here, this is the top rack, right? It's curved. And then again, the same thing for the bottom rack. So the fact that they are curved like that, that is the reason why it does not take such a large amount of wall space in order to install it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over some key features of the rack system, and I'm gonna start at the bottom and just work my way up and talk about a few things along the way. So first off, I want you to notice the orange cups here. So basically, the orange cups are gonna provide a base for your combos or your rods to sit on. Well, you can do a couple things with them. I have them, or I'm going to have them all staggered, right? One up, one down. And the reason I'm gonna do that is because hopefully this will be full of combos very soon. And by staggering them, the reels are gonna be at different heights. Just say somebody is not gonna have combos on here, they're just gonna use this to hold their extra rods or whatever. So maybe you want to keep all of these cups at the same height. You can also do that. It's very simple to do as well. So as you can see, this cup here is up high. So all I want to do is I'm going to twist it and pull it out and then flip it over. And now when I put it back in, I simply just drop the cup down and give it a twist, and there it is. So it's very easy to change the heights on it, and something that certainly will come in handy. One thing I want to show you why we are down here at the bottom, and that is it is a built-in or integrated shelf. So check this out. On mine, I have a pair of pliers as well as a pair of scissors. I know that I'm going to be spooling all of my reels from right up here at the spooling station, so I will always need a pair of scissors handy to cut the line when I'm done doing that. So for me, on this little shelf here, that's what I'm going to have. It's very sturdy, very stable. It is literally built right in to this bottom rack. So another neat feature, and I know you guys are going to like it. So we've made our way up to the top rack here, and guys, this is what gets me the most excited. What you're gonna find up here is the patent pending line spooling station where you can spool either a bait casting reel or a spinning reel, all without getting any line twists, which is awesome. And then the other thing you're gonna find is a place where you can actually store all of your spools of fishing line. For me, I know that this is key because typically I keep my spools inside of a drawer somewhere, but now I know they're all gonna be placed up here. So when it does come time to put lines on my reels, I know that it's all right here, it's organized, and it's very easy to find. So now I'm gonna put on the GoPro, and then I'm gonna walk you through exactly how it is you use the spooling system. All right, so I already have everything set up here. I did a few things off camera. That way, you know, for the sake of time, it's gonna make this a little bit quicker, but you are definitely gonna want to follow the instructions in terms of the order of what you're gonna do before you start to spool the line onto your reel. And the first thing that you're gonna wanna do is you have to place the tension band around the spool of line first, right? After you do that, you pull the line out through this little hole that is in the tension band, and then you're gonna run the line right down through here, all right? It's gonna come through this little hole next, and then from there, you're gonna take it and you're gonna put it through the first eye of your rod. After that, you simply run it all the way down to your reel where you're gonna tie it around the spool of your reel, and then that way you are ready to start to reel the line off of the spool. But again, it's important that you follow those steps before you get ready to do it. Now, the other thing I wanna say is you always wanna make sure that when you are ready to spool the line, that it is coming off the top part of the spool, right? As you reel, you shouldn't see this line coming from the bottom. It is always supposed to come from the top of the spool as you are reeling it down. What you have to do next is simply lift up this bar. It's where you're gonna place the spool on, and then you just slide the spool right onto the bar here, and then you're gonna put it back down and give it just one little push to the right, and then it locks it in place. Now, as you can see, the spool still kind of moves freely, and that's not really that big of a deal because in a second, it's gonna straighten out. Okay, so I'm now ready to spool up my bait casting reel, but first, I wanna just make sure that before I start to turn the reel here and get the line going, I wanna be as straight on as possible with the spooling station. So I'm gonna just actually take the tip of the rod here and just rest it right up there at the top rod rack, and I'm pretty much in a straight line right now. So now as I start to turn the handle of the reel, I want to make sure that as the line is coming off of the spool, that it is tight, but not so tight to where I could barely even turn the handle. If that's the case, all you have to do is walk back up here to the spool, and you can actually adjust the amount of tension with the B.A.S. band that is on the spool itself. So you make it a little bit more loose right there. Now you're gonna come back and I'm gonna start reeling it again. Now, vice versa, if now when I start to reel, I mean this thing, the spool is just spinning freely, you know, and you know it is too loose, well then just walk right back up here, make a quick adjustment again to the tension band, maybe make it a little bit tighter, and that's all that you have to do. Once you have it figured out perfect and it is the right amount of tension, all you do is start reeling, and you're gonna put on there as much line as you need. It is a very easy thing to do, guys, and it is not complicated at all, and that is how you spool a bait casting reel. So now I'm gonna show you how to configure this here for a spinning reel setup. So the first thing you're gonna wanna do is take this piece out right here, okay? The next thing you're gonna wanna do is remove either this piece or this piece. They both come out, but you only need to take one of them out. So for this video, I'm gonna just take this piece out right here, okay? Then I'm going to come back and I'm gonna take this part here and I'm going to just install it right here. And it's very easy. All you're gonna do is you're going to make it to where this piece is facing up, and you're gonna set it down into the little holder there. And then once you have it in place, simply just give it a little turn and it'll stop, and then that's how you're gonna know that it is locked in. So now I'm ready to put the spool up here, but first I wanna make sure that I start by putting the tension band on the line. That is the first thing that you're gonna wanna make sure that you do. Okay, so now it's time to put the line up here. You're gonna take this, what looks kind of like a, I guess you could call it like a little T-bar, right? And you're gonna insert it through the spool of line like so. And now what this is gonna do is it's gonna hold the spool in place up here. So you simply just put the end of that right through this hole here, and then you're just simply gonna push it all the way down to where it doesn't go any farther, right? And then you can give it a little bit of a turn and you're gonna feel it get a little bit stiff, right? But all it's doing is basically locking this spool into place so that way as you start reeling it onto the reel, it's not wobbling and shaking everywhere. So one more thing that I want to point out that again is very important is that you want to make sure that as you are spooling the line onto your reel, it is coming off of this side of the spool as it is turning. It should not be turning this way with the line coming off of this way. That is incorrect, guys. So just make sure you pay attention to that. So we've got the spool up here. It is in place. Now I'm gonna take the end of the line, right, and simply just run it up through here. And then now, once I have done that, I can get it here, like so. Just, of course, I twisted it on there. But so now, as you can see, the line has been threaded up through here and it is ready to attach to my fishing reel. Okay, so here we go. I'm ready to start to spool the line onto my spinning reel here. I've already showed you how you set it up there at the rack system. What I did with this one, guys, is I just went ahead and threaded the line through every single one of the eyes on the rod here until I brought it down to the reel and tied it off. When I showed you the bait caster, I actually started with the first eye here on the rod and then went to the bait casting reel. But either way is going to work just fine. So I just want to make you aware that as you notice the line coming through the entire rod in this part of the video. So I'm all tied up, ready to go. I'm ready to start to spool up the reel and let's see what the tension is like. Now, again, remember, I want to be as straight on as possible as I start to spool up my reel. So let's go ahead and give it a go. So right away, I noticed that as I start to turn the handle, I mean, I can barely turn this handle, guys, which tells me that it is way too tight up here. So all I'm gonna do is come up here, simply just grab the tension band, right? And all I have to do is pull down on this little tab and it's going to loosen up the amount of tension that is on the spool. And now I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna, again, just start to reel. And as I start to reel, now that spool is spinning a lot more easy, exactly how I want it to be. Now again, if I made that adjustment and it was way too loose, and as I'm turning this over, the line is bouncing around, I'm seeing a lot of slack in the line, that means you just have to walk back up to the spool and make a little adjustment and tighten it up. It is very easy to do, but again, that is all we have to do here to set this up to get it ready to spool up our spinning reel. Very simple. Well, that's gonna do it for the video. I wanna say thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. If you have any other questions, please feel free to go ahead and drop those in the comment section below. Otherwise, head on over to KastKing.com, pick yourself up one of these, or you can find them on Amazon. Thanks again, guys, and take care.